Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing another vinyl update video. It's not been too long since I did my last one, but I've had a bit of a record buying splurge over the past month. So yeah, I'll just be showing some recent pickups in this video from a variety of places. A couple from when I was up in Aberdeen for work. There was a couple of really good record shops there where I got a few good things, and then a few ones from around the Manchester area as well when I was down recently seeing the one and only the House of Love here, who are fantastic. I like Outline the Cavern Club. It's a great show. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. It's a vinyl update. So I'll just get stuck in with a few finds from when I was in Aberdeen for work. Yeah, so also got in a couple of record shops. Can't remember what the shops are called, unfortunately. I'll just show what I got anyway. So from first shop, which was in the city centre. I'm just even trying to remember what street it was on. I can't even remember now. But anyway, I got this Echo and the Bunnymen 12-inch single, which you didn't have already. Bring on the Dancing Horses, one of their greats, with Bed Bugs and Ballyhoo and Over Your Shoulder on the B-side. I got a couple of items by the Smithereens, so I think I've been getting into over the past few months, a little bit anyway, certainly because the stuff's quite cheap and easy to find. So I got this, which is, I think this is just a single called Behind the Wall of Sleep from 1986, so quite an early release for them. And then this album here, which I think is their most popular album, it's called 11, which came out in 89, so again, a little bit later. But this one has A Girl Like You, which I think is their most popular song. I always end up saying that, I think this is the most popular song. I think that one actually was. They certainly had one big American hit, and I think that was it. This was, I think, the height of their success there. So yeah, that is the Smithereens. And then they also had a big box of singles where I think they were priced at 50p, but I think when she kind of rang it through on the till, I mean, they came to next to nothing each of these. I don't think she actually charged me for any of these, which was quite pleasant. So I got a Wings single, Old Siam Sir. Got this mostly for the picture sleeve, I'll say the picture sleeve, the kind of printed sleeve, which is not something I've ever really seen before, and yeah, just another one to kind of add to the McCartney collection. I got this one, which is a Pretenders one, Him to Her, which is from 1986. I think this is a non-album single, not 100% sure. I seem to be now slowly collecting Pretenders singles. I got this one, which is by The Police, So Lonely, in a really good sort of picture sleeve there. A John Lennon one, which I didn't already have, which but considering these were going for next to nothing, I thought I would pick it up. Just like starting over with Yoko Ono's Kiss 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 on the B-side. And then another one, again, probably just primarily bought for the sleeve, this ABBA single, which is Angel Eyes and Voulez-Vous, a double A-side single, just same picture on either side, but a lovely wee photo of them. Two great songs. Okay, next one's now, again, still in Aberdeen here from a different shop. This was further in the south of the city, I think just near Holborn Street, I want to say this shop was. But again, I've forgotten what it was called, which is a real shame, because the guy was really friendly in there. He was playing at Abbey Road, last on the Abbey Road album, when I was in there, so that was always good to hear. But anyway, I got a few things here. So I got this David Bowie 12-inch single for John, I'm Only Dancing Again. This is the 1975 sort of re-recorded version of it. One of his, it's a weird song, this, because it's not on any of his albums, but it was a relatively successful single, and he's always seemed to be revisiting this song, sort of thing. So yeah, this is from 75, but came out in 79, this single. I've just seen it on the back there, so that's quite an interesting one there. This one I didn't really need to get, to be honest, but I got mostly just for the cover, which is this the Beatles Ballads compilation. So this was from the kind of era where I guess EMI were kind of just pumping out Beatles products, they were really rinsing them for all they were worth. And this is basically a kind of compilation, a 20-track single LP compilation. So they've really crammed the songs on here, just off Beatles ballads, which is quite nice. But again, mostly got this for the cover, which this was the artwork which was done originally for the album, the White Album, before it was known known as the White Album. They were going to call it A Doll's House, and this was going to be the cover of it. But then they decided, actually, you know what, we don't like this. We'll just go for like a blank sheet of paper, like in the end. So yeah, it might have turned out quite differently if this had been the cover. But yeah, no, a nice wee compilation there. This one is an 80s band here, a band called The Farmer's Boys. I think in my last update I showed their second album. This is their first album, and I've not played this yet, so I can't tell you like what this is like. But this was cheap enough, and you also get a wee bonus 12-inch single in here as well. So this is called Get Out and Walk by The Farmer's Boys. And then I got this Talking Heads 12-inch single here. So this is for Girlfriend Is Better. Great song. I think this is the live version, I think, from the Stop Making Sense concert. Again, mostly got this for the artwork. Just kind of good photos there from the Stop Making Sense concert there. And you get Once in a Lifetime, an extended version of that on the B-side as well. So yeah, fantastic stuff there, Talking Heads. Also from that same shop as well was this Squeeze single here. This is for the song Bang Bang here. I think this was their second single, and it was a huge flop this year. It kind of was a follow-up to Take Me I'm Yours, and this song did nothing. And you can kind of see why with kind of single artwork like this, with this incredibly disturbing kind of like back cover there. This is on a green vinyl, which is quite nice, but yeah, really was just one to get me kind of one step closer to being complete, like on Squeeze singles. And last one from Aberdeen here is a Belle and Sebastian album called Fold Your Hands Child, You Walk Like a Peasant. This was their fourth studio album. Been really getting into Belle and Sebastian over the past couple of months. Went to see them live last week, and oh, they were brilliant. And yeah, I'm really keen to get as many of their albums as I can now, to be honest. But this was probably one of the weaker ones, like what I've heard. I guess this was a bit of an attempt to do something a bit more democratic. You know, I guess by this point, Stuart Murdoch had basically become the main songwriter. You know, like all the songs are sung and written by him. So this was a record where they wanted to try and be a bit more democratic, I'd say. And it doesn't work, you know. There's just too many filler songs on here. A lot of tracks which just, yeah, don't really do anything for me. Like a lot of weak links. So, yeah, a bit of a shame this one. But, yeah, you can't win them all, I guess. Okay, next few items here are all from my local market in Leith. There's a guy there's a record seller who comes, I think it's once every 2 weeks, but I always end up seeing, like, always seem to, like, end up, like, missing him, like, when he comes, but yeah, like, thankfully, I went along and, like, he was there this time, so I got these items here. So this one is an album by a band called Wire. This is the album's Chairs Missing, which I've been looking for like a little while, but this is a really nice original pressing of it here, and this one is particularly rare. I was looking like on Discogs, because this is the one with a kind of lilac coloured inner sleeve. I think for future releases, they changed this just to like I think it was just a grey sort of like thing. So apparently this lilac version like is actually quite hard to come by. So yeah, like that's something. Yeah, a lot of good songs on this album. Again, Wire, they were kind of, I guess, post-punk before punk has even really took off, to be honest. I think it's on the Harvest label. It's not in amazing condition, this, but it is nice again just to get this on like a really good like original pressing of it, because it's certainly not the easiest album to come by. This is the album with the brilliant song Outdoor Miner on it. Yeah, like one of the best like I guess, yeah, post-punk songs there, like of all time. So yeah, that is Wire. And then I was also flicking through some of this guy's singles as well, and I found these two goodies. So I got this Paul Weller one from Floorboards Up, from the I was going to say like the As It Was album, or As You Were, or something like that, but yeah, this was yeah, like 2005, his last top 10 hit, I believe, like in like the UK, from the Floorboards Up. A great song, very short, sharp and snappy kind of song there. And then I got this one where, which again, this wasn't priced, and I got a really good deal on it. It's a single, James, Sit Down, but this is the original version of the song before it became the kind of monster hit like that it did, like, you know. And this is a completely different mix of it. It's a lot more rough and ready, this version. It's certainly doesn't have all the kind of overdubs and the kind of big production like that, like the kind of version that everyone knows does. This one is there's a lot more kind of piano driven, this one, and I possibly prefer this. You know, there's a certain charm to this version which I think you kind of, I guess gets missing a little bit with the kind of the proper sort of full version I got like the song. But no, really great song. And again, this single is quite hard to come by now, because this was just a flop song. Like very few people bought this like when it came out. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how certain songs take off when they get reissued. Okay, now we're into the stuff I got when I was down in the kind of Manchester area for this kind of like the House of Love concert. So these first few are from X Records in Bolton, which is always a little bit hit and miss. It's probably more miss these days than hit, but I did get quite a few, mostly singles, but I also got a couple of albums here. So I got this Ian Dury album, like new, what's this one? Like New Boots and Panties is the album, and 1977. This is one where I recently did a 1977 album ranking, and this is one which I was conscious of that I was excluding simply because I didn't own it when I made like that video. I've not quite had a chance to play this one yet, so I might still not entirely like it, but yeah, we'll see. But it is a kind of, it's often considered a kind of classic of that kind of pub rock kind of, again, not quite post-punk, but sort of like kind of like the new wavy sort of era, where sort of like 1970s, sort of like late 70s kind of British music there. This one is by a band called the Psychedelic Furs, and this is their debut album, I believe. Again, got this one relatively cheap, 1980 this one came out. It's not in brilliant condition, there's a little wee tear there. That's the only thing with X Records, sometimes the condition in there is not brilliant, but typically when it's not brilliant, they do price the records accordingly, and this one was I think this was a £5, which for a Psychedelic First album I think is quite good value there. So yeah, there's that one. Then I got a couple of 12-inch singles here. So I got this Style Council one, which I was missing from my collection, Promised Land, the kind of last gasp of the Style Council, the kind of house single here. Not a brilliant song, but certainly quite a noteworthy single, like the final Style Council single there, Promised Land. And then I got this one, again, been slowly getting into these guys like the Proclaimers, but probably more so just because it is such a good song, 500 Miles, and again, it's a really nice cover, quite like the artwork on this one here, so I thought, yeah, why not pick that one up again, very cheap, I think maybe a couple of quid for that one. And the shop, X Records, is brilliant for singles, I think, and also CD singles, as well. They've got a great, inventory, just whole racks and racks of CDs. But I found these two CD singles, which again I've never seen before. So I got they're both Paul McCartney ones. So I got this one, which is From a Lover to a Friend, the single from Driving Rain. Not a brilliant song, certainly one of his weaker singles, I would say, but again, not one I've ever seen before. And then this one, which is a Fine Line from the Chaos and Creation album, which is really good because it's got The Comfort of Love on the B-side, which is a fantastic B-side. Again, for the Chaos and Creation era, there's so many fantastic kind of extra kind of bonus songs kicking around, on various formats, whether it be vinyl, 7-inch, or those CD singles, and most of them are really, really good, and that one certainly is. And then I got a couple of 7-inch singles from this shop as well. X Records was still out here. So I got quite a few jam singles here. So I got Funeral Pyre, I got Strange Town, Start, and All Around the World. And usually jam singles, certainly like these early ones in quite nice condition, kind of fetch a bit of money, but these are all around 3 or 4 quid, so I thought, yeah, why not? Well, chuck those in. I got this Bluebells one here, kind of, the Scottish kind of sort of indie pop band. This is a song called Forevermore. I think maybe their debut single. They had a lot of. I'm discovering now that the Bluebells certainly had a lot of these kind of non-album singles kind of dotted about, and this was one of them. Not a brilliant song. I can't say I was too taken by this song, but the B-side is called Aim in Life, which was on their album Sisters and was produced by Elvis Costello, the single version. So yeah, that was really nice to get that one. I got this Elvis Costello one for the song Sulky Girl. This is from the Brutal Youth album, 1994. So yeah, quite late for a 7-inch single here, but a great song, from a really, really great album. Certainly one of Costello's better later day albums there, Brutal Youth. So yeah, that one was another nice pickup. And then got this Paul McCartney one as well, which was missing from my collection, Only Love Remains, which not one of his strongest songs again, bit of a kind of soppy ballad, I guess, like you could say, but there is a brilliant B-side on this, Tough on a Tightrope, a real McCartney, like hidden gem there, one of my favourite Paul McCartney songs actually, like I would go as far to say with that one. And then I got a couple of XTC singles, which again is always nice, so I must be nearly complete on their 7-inch singles. I got Wait Till Your Boat Goes Down, an interesting song for them, you know, it's a non-album single this, and I think this was the follow-up to Making Plans for Nigel, and this did nothing, it sank without a trace, if you pardon the pun there. And then this one is Respectable Street, a brilliant track. I think this was something like the 4th or 5th single from Black Sea, and again it didn't do anything, real shame because it is such a great song, so yeah, nice to get those two. And then this last one from X Records is by The Church, which is Under the Milky Way. Yeah, probably the most popular song on a kind of international level. You know, this was a big US hit, and it was a big hit in their native Australia as well, but in the UK, this didn't do anything, you know, and like The Church never had much success, so it's always quite surprising to see their stuff like out in the wild, and yeah, a really nice copy of it here, like on a wee nice little gatefold package. Okay, next couple now are all from Manchester record shops. This first one is from Clampdown Records near Piccadilly train station. So got this album by James, Strip Mine here. I believe this is their second album, I want to say. Again, not one I've played yet, so I can't pass any comment on it, but again, it's not every day you see James stuff, so I thought, yeah, why not get that one? And then this one is a Godley and Creme album, which is music from Consequences. So Consequences was a kind of triple LP, kind of mammoth kind of concept album they made, I think they made it while it was still technically with 10cc, but then kind of released it like under like the Godley and Creme name, and then actually just decided to go off and like do like their own thing. A lot of it's one of my dad's favourite albums. You know, he's got like on CD, he's got the full 3 LP set, but a lot of it is quite experimental. You know, they were using the Gizmotron like quite a lot, so it does have a bit of a reputation as being quite an indulgent kind of album. So this came out a couple of years after, and it's essentially just the songs from it, and there's a couple of really good ones on here, like I really liked. I mean, the first track on side 1, 5 o'clock in the morning, like I'd never heard any of these songs before, and I was like, wow, this is such a really good song. It was as good as any 10cc song, you know, like 5 o'clock in the morning. But then there's a couple of slightly dodgy ones as well. I think if you're a fan of the 10cc song One Night in Paris, you know, a lot of this album has a kind of similar feel to that, you know, so quite experimental, little bit edging on indulgence possibly, but yeah, no, like interesting, like nonetheless. So yeah, that's like Godley and Creme there, and music from Consequences. And then last one from Clampdown here was just a little Lilac Time single. You know, I'm really big fan of the Lilac Time now, Stephen Duffy, and yeah, this is for like The Girl Who Waves at Trains, a really good song there from the what's this one called, like the Paradise Circus album. So no, like really good song. Okay, next couple up now are from a shop out in Stratford, a kind of suburb of the kind of Manchester area, called Real Around the Fountain Records. One of my favourite record shops. Yeah, fantastic. Would definitely recommend everyone to go there. So yeah, this one is by a band called Blue Aeroplanes, which is a bit of a blind buy for me. And again, this is maybe one I slightly regret getting, because yeah, but this album, like in particular, it's quite an abrasive kind of album. Like, you know, certainly vocally, he's kind of more speaking rather than singing, and it just didn't quite do it for me, unfortunately, like on first listen. I think this is their debut album, and they've got another album which is a bit more, which I've seen before, which is this kind of, they've got a person standing with these kind of wings on, which looks quite an interesting album, which I think I might try and get one day, but this one didn't quite do it for me, so it's called Tolerance, yeah, by Blue Aeroplanes. Okay, this one is by a guy called Marshall Crenshaw. It's kind of, I think he's an American kind of singer-songwriter sort of like thing, from kind of like, well, he kind of came to prominence in like the early '80s with a kind of self-titled album, and like had quite a bit of success with that. But this is a later album. This is from 1989, and it started slightly faded by this point, I would say. And this album is quite, it's certainly quite a well-produced album. Probably overproduced, I think, is the word for it. It's good, but maybe a little bit forgettable. Like in places, yeah. But no, yeah, Marshall Crenshaw there again, very cheap. This was £6 for that one. And then I picked up this, which was slightly a kind of missing link, I guess, in my REM collection. So this is Fables of the Reconstruction here, which is always, it's a bit confusing, like, as to what way this one goes, because I think technically it goes that way, because the record comes out there, but then it's upside down, so it's all over the shop, this album. It's not what I've played yet, but I think I know a couple of songs. I think I know a couple of the more well-known tracks, like on here. 1985, this one came out, like, I believe. So yeah, it was just another one like in like a great run like of like REM albums they had like in like the mid-80s. And then this one was quite an exciting find for me anyway. It's a Teenage Fan Club album. This is A Catholic Education. This was, I think, their second album, I want to say. Came out in 1990, and this is a really nice original pressing of it here. You've got the track, and I think the most notable song on here is Everything Flows, which they still use like as like their concert closer like to this day. It's a fantastic track, and there's a lot of great stuff on it. Definitely quite far removed from the kind of Teenage Fan Club, what they would become, you know, quite laid back and kind of very kind of safe. You know, this album, quite a noisy album, you know, it reminds me a bit of the band Ride, you know, it's almost a bit shoegazy like in places. So, no, really good stuff there from a Teenage Fan Club. Okay, now we move along now to a different shop now. This one is called Music for the Soul Records. This is in Urmston again, a little like short bus journey from like real around the fountain like in Stratford. And again, this shop is fantastic for singles. Again, they've just got so many boxes to rake through, and it's all really, really good quality stuff. So again, I got quite a few things there. So I got these two Pretenders ones. Again, seem to be collecting Pretenders singles for like whatever reason. This is Stop Your Sobbing, great cover of like the Kinks classic there. And then this is probably their best song, I would say, or certainly among my favourite Pretenders songs, Brass in Pocket. Just a wonderful song, big UK #1 single there. Fantastic stuff. Got a couple more Bluebell singles. Again, I don't really know where all these singles ended up coming from, because certainly none of these songs are on the Sisters album, like their only album, so they must have had a lot of non-album singles around that time as well. So this is Sugar Brides, or not Sugar Brides, Sugar Bridge, sorry, yeah, this one here, which is from, God, I don't even know what year, probably, yeah, mid-80s anyway. And then this one is I Am, and then this one is All I Am, the Bluebells, which I think was their last release. And I think the fact that this was a bit of a flop single probably didn't really is probably what contributed, I guess, to them maybe breaking up like as soon as like they did, because yeah, this one came out I think maybe 85 or 86, and yeah, didn't do anything. Then also got this Prefab Sprout one, which is for the song Fan Young, and this is a single edit of it, which is a bit of a shame, because I mean, like, the full version is just brilliant. But no, nice to get this one, and I do quite like the cover art on it as well. And then I got this Noel Gallagher's High Flying Bird single, right up to date now, 2015 this one came out here, for Lock All the Doors. Lovely, lovely artwork on this, great song, and you've got a good B-side called Here's a Candle for Your Birthday Cake on the back of it. Okay, still at Music for the Soul Records here, I got another Style Council 12-inch, so I think I must be complete on their 12-inch singles now, surely. And I got Life at a Top People's Health Farm here, so yeah, this was certainly well done in his slightly lost, slightly puzzling phase of his career, but because this is not a brilliant song, a very odd choice for a single, very the opposite of commercial, I would say, is probably the way to describe it. Yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting to see like what like they were like kind of like putting out like at like this time, thinking people like would buy. Yeah, it's not a great song, unfortunately. And then another Paul Weller related item, I then got this, which is a copy of Hung Up on a 12-inch, one of his 90s singles here. Which yeah, fantastic stuff here. Not in amazing condition. This was £15, and unfortunately it's got this slightly ugly £5 sticker on it, and it's difficult to get off, so I don't want to ruin this by taking that off. And the spine's slightly wrecked as well, but you know, these Paul Weller 12-inch singles, they're not easy to come by. I certainly never really seen them like in like the wild like at all, so this one was quite a nice purchase. And then this last one from my time in Manchester there is a record which I've been looking for a little while now. And I was basically just coming home, and I was basically just on my way kind of back from Music for the Soul, like on the bus, and I was thinking, right, I've had enough, I bought far too much today. But the one shop I'd not been to is King Bee Records, just out in Cholton, just like the kind of like, again, the kind of suburbs of Manchester. Tends to be where like their best record shops are. Like kind of like slightly outside of like the city centre. But anyway, so I thought, okay, if they've got this album in, because they've got all the stock like stock listed like online. If they've got this particular album, I'll go and pick it up. But if they've not, I'll just call it a day. And it ended up being that they did have it in. So what the album is The Lightning Seeds, and it's Cloud Cuckoo Land. Now, yeah, Lightning Seeds, Ian Brody, he, I think he started his career like as a producer, you know, like he produced the first Echo and the Bunnymen album, and then has produced tons of stuff throughout the 90s. I think the Icicle Works as well were possibly one of his bands, but this was his kind of big break, I guess, like as a kind of solo like act, and this is great. This is just a great record. You know, The Lightning Seeds, I guess, would become, I guess, a little bit synonymous, I guess, with that really annoying football song, like It's Coming Home, which I really don't like, and it's the only thing that people really know them sort of like by like to this day, which is a shame because albums like this are just so good. This is the debut from 1990, and there's just a lot of great tracks there. Pure is brilliant, All I Want, Sweet Dreams, and The Price, the closing track, is just great as well. So a lot of fantastic stuff here, and yeah, was very, very, very glad to finally get my hands on it. Okay, now coming to a close now, I've just got a wee online purchase here to show. So this was a recent compilation put out, the best of Richard Hawley. So he's a kind of Sheffield-based kind of singer-songwriter. Been going for about maybe 20-25 years now, and he's really good, very underrated, very kind of classic kind of songwriter. You know, if you think of like Roy Orbison kind of style of songs, you know, quite very good orchestration on them, just very classy kind of songs, like, you know. So this is basically a double LP compilation of his most popular tracks. I was going to say his hits. I mean, he didn't really have many hits like in like the UK. I guess his most well-known song is probably Tonight the Streets Are Ours, which is a gorgeous song. But yeah, there's so much on this album here, and yeah, just a really good introduction to the great Richard Hawley. Okay, and then before I close off this video, just got one more thing to show, which is again another recent compilation which has come out, which is Johnny Marr's album Spirit Power, which is a great double LP set of basically just summing up his solo career today. And there's so many great songs, but you might have noticed I've had this version signed personally by him. I actually sort of met him like in person, which was fantastic. Like, you know, again, he was really great with everyone, took his time, you know. He was kind of like, you see a lot of these artist signings and they kind of sat behind a desk and it's kind of like a conveyor belt kind of thing. This one, he was really spending time like with like everyone, and it was fantastic. I was very awkward though. I basically was a bit awestruck, you know, to be meeting him, so it was slightly awkward, but he signed that one, and then he also signed my uncle's original copy of like The Queen Is Dead here. Again, I maybe shouldn't have got him to write To Ross on it, because maybe should have just got him to sign it like Johnny Marr. But anyway, I got them like the copy of The Queen Is Dead signed as well, which was really fantastic. So that has been my vinyl update, maybe number 70 or whatever it is. But anyway, hope you have enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time for the next one. Goodbye.